Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Muskan from Datamatics. Thank you for joining us today as we delve into the topic of optimizing order to cash using GenAI to improve cash flow and financial performance. To ensure we provide the best assistance, we have a dedicated questions tab where you can submit your queries and thoughts. We'll address them by the end of this session. Please note that all lines are currently muted per the default settings of the webinar. To keep things interactive, we'll be launching two poll questions for you to share your insights. Additionally, stay tuned for a survey form at the end of the webinar. Your feedback will help us enhance our discussions for further sessions. Also, no need to take copious notes. We promise we'll send you the session recording and presentation deck via email by next week. Without further ado, I would like to hand it over to Lakshmi, who will be the moderator for this discussion. Lakshmi is a qualified cost accountant and seasoned finance transformational professional with 20 plus years of experience. She has delivered numerous large transformation programs in F&A domain and order to cash being her core competency and focus area. Thank you for being there with us, Lakshmi. Over to you.
Thank you, Muskan. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on optimizing order to cash using GenAI to improve cash flow and financial performance. I'm Lakshmi, your host for today's insightful session. We are thrilled to have with us Mr. Praveen Singh, Head of Finance Transformation at Datamatics. Praveen holds MBA degree from IIM Ahmedabad and was working with as a finance transformation leader for organizations like Accenture Consulting and Budweiser prior to Datamatics. Today, he will guide us through pioneering strategies for O2C optimization. So, before we hand it over to Praveen, can we launch a quick poll question, please? Muskan?
Yes, Lakshmi, I have already launched the question. So, the first poll question for the audience is: how would you rate the current efficiency of your order to cash process? Option 1 being very efficient from 80 to 100%. Option 2 being moderately efficient from 50 to 80%. Option 3 somewhat inefficient, 30 to 50%. Option 4 highly inefficient, 0 to 30%.
Thank you, Lakshmi and Muskan. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the session. I'll try to do justice to your time here today as we are embarking on a journey to re-engage in O2C processes and usage of GenAI into tapestry of offering. Now we see that we have quite a skewed response, and it seems like most of us have already started transformation journey in finance in different capacity altogether. And it's important for us because rapid changing technology landscape, and especially in past 1.5 year, the kind of transformation in technology by the big tech that we have witnessed, it can be catalyst to this journey. And in the long run, of course, cost would be optimizing for sure. So our focus today will be on harmonizing multiple sub-processes of O2C, such as order management, credit, cash application, collection, into a seamless continuum of efficiency and precision. We'll explore how GenAI can act as a catalyst for cash flow enhancement and delve into the strategic decisions that can trim your DSOs, shortening cash conversion cycle for better financial performance, and optimizing your working capital requirement.
Praveen, just a minute. You mentioned working capital requirement. This is the key focus area for CFOs around globe today because if capital is tied up with your receivables, you will end up in borrowing short-term working capital loans in spite of having healthy top line. So with current inflation, interest rates on these loans are huge, ranging from 18 to 30%. So will this not impact heavily on their bottom line?
You are right on spot, Lakshmi, because with this, by borrowing the short-term working capital to infuse in your business, due to your collections are slow or your ARs are heavy, your debt to collection ratio becomes so high that we have observed and companies ready to file Chapter 11, that is declaring bankruptcy in spite of running a good business. So they are selling more, there is no problem with the operational efficiencies, everything is fine. But they are not able to collect their dues on time from the customers. Their ARs are still lying there, and for the optimization of running for the business, they need to borrow this loan. And this is really where good businesses are bleeding cash flow, and thus end up filing Chapter 11 for sure.
Quite an insights, Praveen. So before we start with your detailed presentation, I would like to ask a quick question.
Mhm.
Why did you choose O2C domain for today's webinar?
This is again an interesting one because traction is huge in this segment in overall FNA space. And as you know that we work with multiple market research analyst groups such as Gartner's and Everest of the world. And
Mm-hmm.
O2C has been ranked number two immediately after FP&A. And FP&A being quite a small area, so we can discount that. And it has surpassed account payable, that is at point number three. And this all started just during the lockdown period. When pandemic hit us, supply chain of the world was disrupted. And firms and market realize one thing big time: importance of cash flow into their system, and requirement of working capital. And these factors are immensely dependent on account receiver with the customers. Even today, with such a instability in our geopolitical scenarios, where you see that oil prices are going up and down due to disruption and war going on, and routes are being either blocked or they have to take a different route. So firms are still betting on optimizing their O2C, and hence this is the focus area in FNA. What else could have been chosen, right? So that's the
Right.
reason I chose this particular area.
Right, Praveen. Even though companies are fairly automated their P2P processes, many of O2C processes are still performed by manually and in using their ERPs only. Okay, so as you rightly mentioned, after pandemic, we see a lot of inquiries coming from CFOs on automating FAS practices with AI and machine learning features inbuilt. So let us understand how we can optimize cash flow and financial performance through automation. Since everyone is talking about Gen AI, tell us more about how it integrates with existing or transformative O2C processes.
Sure, Lakshmi. I'll so try to explain this in my terms that first of all, O2C has been quite an underrated area for automation and transformation opportunity, and scope is immense. There are roughly 9 to 10 sub-processes in O2C. However, major impactful areas are few, where if you do certain level of transformation, then like the areas of credit, collection, and cash app to be focused in, then you will see better results, better outcome, and impacts are higher in your overall cash flow of the system. So let's delve into these three areas. Let me just change the slide and go for this GenAI powered smart credit. So now we'll discuss that how GenAI can enhance credit management for your organization. So far, if you take the example, right, in any conventional credit system, you'll find credit allocation during customer onboarding is quite a linear process. A fixed credit is to be allocated for any new customer onboarded, and a certain retainage amount has been established, right? But now with Gen AI models, they have comprehensive data analysis capability to evaluate risk profiling for the customer, and for each of them, they can do it separately. And at the same time, LLMs are using inputs from multiple sources, such as past payment history or financial health analysis of the customer from open sources data available in the public domain, and data from the rating agencies such as Fitch, Moody's, S&P's of the world. And then GenAI can process these data via LLMs and allocate right credit term and define very tailored credit period for customers at individual level. And this is where it's getting quite interesting because each customer is unique, and now you have credit profiling for each of them. It also doesn't stop here, let me tell you, because the credit analysts can now see that which customers are likely to be good customers, which customers are likely to be default. So they will adjust the credit accordingly. And this is you are not just mitigating risk, but also trying to have better business with good customers that earlier in the linear model you are not able to do. Also, credit analysts can interact with the system with prompt engineering like chat gpt like feature, and I'll talk more about the details in later section. They can ask relevant details while filling or adjusting the credit limit or defining for the for that particular customer, while whatever is thrown up by the system. So this is overall quite dynamic in nature. While risk management, customer credit profiling, and financial performance are of utmost importance, it will also explore how leveraging data insight can have positive impact on your top line, enhancing risk assessment and real-time risk mitigation. Let me just take the example to cover that quickly. That suppose a customer has exhausted the credit limit and they want to place more order on top of that. So what will happen? Invariably, he or she cannot just place the order because they have already exhausted the limit, and order will be automatically blocked. So that's one of the feature. And then probably collector see that they call them because certain amount need to be released, payment needs to be released, be it a partial payment or full payment. And this is where immediately cash application comes into the account, and it auto updates the system, and within a minute the analyst can unblock the order manually, and hence enabling your customer to buy more from you. As I'm going to cover deeply into other two processes, but if you see, all these three processes work in tandem. And within a few minutes, where you have been blocking the order for quite some time, you are able to sort the problem out and enable customer to buy immediately. Others, there are companies, right, which are already have optimized this one, and they are taking advantage of dynamic credit allocation by reducing risk of defaulting on real time and so on.
Yeah, that's right, Praveen. Dynamic credit limit adjustment at customer level would really help businesses to sell more. It reminds me an example. We have a customer who are into manufacturing of white good products. You can name it as air conditioning. So we used to face a lot of delays in order confirmation process during the peak seasons, as many of the orders are getting blocked for additional approvals to increase credit limits. So this in turn results into lot of offline communications, follow-ups with different departments to ensure smooth delivery. So now imagine if GenAI starts credit allocation adjustments dynamically and also predicting sales volumes to nearest percentage of their customers by taking into account customer profiling, seasonality, and overall economic conditions of that area where the distributors and customers are reside. This would really help them to manage credit effectively.
Yeah, right on the spot, Lakshmi. And what I like that you also put an additional variable of since you took the example of AC, right? So you took the additional variable that how the heat is going to be in the system, right? For them basically in that particular area. And of course, these are some of the levers, some of the exogenous inputs that we can define or system actually recommends you basis since it learns by itself. And there are numerous businesses that have been benefiting from this customized credit profiling, and many more are adopting it as a lever to impact their revenue positively.
Yeah, Praveen. CFO office operations and its related transformations are always considered as a lever to optimize the bottom line. It's really interesting view to notice that there are modules such as credit, which can also contribute to the top line of the business. Okay, now let us explore how GenAI can assist advanced cash application solutions. Automated processes such as receipt matching with invoices and detecting partial payments and understanding the discrepancies and managing the deductions. Uh, these will help us to reduce manual intervention and speed up the reconciliation processes. So, LLM capabilities enable same day invoice matching, eliminate unapplied cash, and reduce DSOs. What are your thoughts on this, Praveen?
Absolutely, Lakshmi. Faster cash application means just one thing: faster processing of money inflow into your system. That's what everybody wants, right? I personally believe that if one process, if I have to choose out of the tapestry of the processes, sub processes on O2C, that should be completely automated, it must be cash application. And I believe most of you here, either you or your customer, have been able to automate your cash application to certain degree of transformation. It should also handle multiple deduction type, as you mentioned, Lakshmi, within the system itself. And but linear or the plain vanilla automation solves at least 60 to 70% of a problem, but major issues such as unapplied cash in the system is one of the major pain areas for most of the customers today. So with the simple plain vanilla automation, you might not be able to solve that immediately or to the accuracy level that is desired. So Gen AI could be the answer to those kind of use cases, because with time, Gen AI refines algorithm through data processing and new scenario planning, enhancing overall accuracy and efficiency continuously over the period of time for the system. At the same time, utilizing historical pattern, right? It does that, and it identifies the trend and anomalies in the system, enhancing cash flow prediction and informed decision making for the for your business basically. Its role within AR automation involves extracting and processing of data from various documents such as you mentioned, invoices, remittances, bank statements, emails, and many more. And with the closest match percentage, it can apply the cash into the system, that is lying in the system for days, probably for months, against the right invoice that it can predict with certain degree of confidence. And this also provides the lever to your collector or to your system to define the confidence interval. And you can define that, and it automatically improves in the LLM over the period of time, because it has capability to train on a limited set of data. So it doesn't require huge amount of data to do run time and again.
I like the idea of auto mode for cash application. 100% auto mode for cash application. We have seen organizations struggling with unidentified deposits lying for a long time in the system. If GenAI can help identifying these deposits and matching with invoices, it will really a great relief for their financial health, and as well as to have a increased delighted customer base. So without any further delay, let us move to our next session, that is collections. Probably this is your favorite area, as recently you have been doing a lot of GenAI experiments in this space. So can you share some insights of what it means by Gen AI powered smart collection strategies?
Sure, Lakshmi. You really want to spill the beans? I don't know. Let's raise the curtain. No doubt, my team has been lately working on this particular area. Nonetheless, by leveraging GenAI's advanced algos, uh, you can segment and target your customers based on the payment behavior and credit worthiness. That's one of the beauty. And this segmentation allows businesses to tailor collection strategies, like offering incentive to high value customers and implementing stricter measures for the high risk accounts, thereby optimizing your collection efforts and maximizing cash inflows. One thing before I get into the collection more, I would like to mention that it is essentially paramount for transformation. What is that? That you draw the exploration of persona of your agents on ground, like their journey, how their day looks like, right? So in this case, it's collector. Let's say example. What you can map, that you can draw the entire journey for the collector, then map that journey with identifying the area of opportunity for transformation through Gen AI or any other automation, right? So that you should do. Now let's take a typical day how collector works. The first thing he or she does, that they look at the work list. They have been given with the work list where it has the number of customers, their calling details, and all that, and they start deciding that which customers to call first. Trust me, 20 to 30% of their typical day time goes into this sorting out the calling list, and it's endless. At the same time, they are not aware, they are completely on the blind spot with if any payment is coming in the system in past few hours or in last minute. While they start calling the customer, and they don't know that the list is updated, the payments are updated or not. But with Gen AI, what you can do, so this is the use case that we have been experimenting, and it's quite successful. That GenAI generates the worklist, and it's not a simple worklist. It's used LLM, and it's built upon complex fuzzy logics. So these algorithms prioritize customers list based on multiple factors again, such as overdue payment, outstanding balances, what is the customer profile, and ultimate goal is to create the optimized list that helps collector maximizing collection effort and efficiency rather than working them on a simple list and putting lots of time and effort. At the same time, it enables them to focus better on negotiation with the customer because or to make them buy like promise to pay feature or something like that sort of. So they are really with the system enabling them to negotiate better with the customer to make the payment. And other features such as like auto dunning for one of my other favorite is that after second or third reminder, you can decide upon which one.
Mm-hmm.
You need not to follow up as the collector. You need not to waste your time again sorting out and sending the means tailored email. That's not required at all. Because if customer is not making payment after third reminder, what you can do, you can set up the system on the auto mode. So auto dunning is a feature. For instance, it's a complete breakthrough, and it saves lots of time for them. The email keeps sending. You can define the periodicity, and system also takes into account if any payments come, then it set up the alarm for the collector that now it needs to be tailored. So this is these are a couple of the features that I would like to mention. And the last one, because as my boss tell that still in the kitchen, so experiment has been successful and we will be coming out soon also. And I think others as well. That co-pilot for collection, where collector is having ability not just to view the logs in the system, but interact with the system, asking the right details about the customer and their payment behavior or any information about the payment. And utilizing Gen AI, you can take the collection process to the next level altogether.
Yeah, Praveen. Good to see that such experiments are coming positively for the market. So, how does GenAI impact the financial performance of an organization?
So Lakshmi, GenAI impacts are not single domain, but it multifaceted, right? Because it streamlines your credit process operation, minimizes your credit-related losses, ensures timely payments, which in turn enhance overall financial performance and profitability. By leveraging data insight, it also provides a comprehensive risk assessment, empowering businesses with proactive risk mitigation strategies, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Now I can see GenAI is a quite impulsive feature for anything we do in O2C space, and it has ability to transform landscape of account receivables.
Absolutely. It is not just a tool, as I mentioned, or technology. It's the complete impulsive or transformative force. And it integrates across processes, sub-processes, and products. And bringing to the new level of precision of operation. For instance, in credit, cash, or collections, GenAI's real-time monitoring and reporting capabilities enable businesses to track performance and identify bottlenecks, leading into informed decision making and enhanced efficiency. So these sub processes must work in tandem. And with the use of Gen AI, they have capability to take your business to the next level altogether, for sure.
Yeah, it's clear that GenAI is revolutionizing the OTC processes. So, as we proceed, I would encourage our audience to prepare any questions they have for Praveen. So, we can take it up at the end of the webinar. Praveen, you mentioned a lot about DSO and cash conversion cycle. Are you going to cover them in detail for our audience?
Yes, Lakshmi, I'll do that. But before that, Muskan, if you can have our second poll question. So it will be having two part, this question. Part A and part B. You need to answer both of them. So Muskan, can you just bring up the question, please?
Yes,
Yeah,
Praveen,
thank you.
question is up. First
So,
question, yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Muskan.
right. The first question is, what do you perceive as the biggest challenge in improving your cash conversion cycle? Lengthy order processing time, delays in invoicing and billing, issues with inventory management, challenges in accounts receivable collection. And the second part is, which of the following O2C sub-process optimization using GenAI, do you think can help shortening CCC, that's order management and fulfillment, billing and cash apps, collections, all of the above?
Yeah, that triple C cash conversion cycle. So basically, it's asking two questions quickly. Both of them are on cash conversion. So for the first one, what I see, there are 29% delay in invoicing and billing. Okay, that's a good one. And the highest one is challenge in account receivable collections. Good one. Collections, good. And order management and fulfillment. And Muskan, can you just bring it? Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, so I got what I wanted to have. So just I have it, and I believe this will be quite related, closely related to the question that I have asked. So you might want to relate to one particular quadrant. I have just drawn on what's your DSO and what's your DPO look like. It's more about how you are paying to your vendors and how and suppliers and how you are getting from your customer, right? Collection from your customers. So ideally, if you see, most of us might relate to, and I can, like for my customer, I can vouch, is we are falling in quadrant D. Reason being that we have already optimized our AP processes, most of us, and for ages, because AP automation is about being in more of the control of your procurement, and so payment to the customers are one of the hygiene factor that we have been following for ages. That's why we are paying on time, but our collections have been quite slow. Now, how we can enable our DSO, okay, shortening the DSO to the industry average or even lesser, best of the industry, we can impact on the cash conversion cycle. And this is where we want to get into from D all together from A, B, and coming to C. While for me, as a personally, what I want to be, everybody wants to be in B, where you are collecting quickly and paying slowly, but that's not the option. So you want to really become C rather than just lying down in either D, or if you are in A, then you need to really think thoroughly on both the side, both on payment as well as on the collections. Okay. Now taking to the next one quickly. Yeah, so I think most of us are well aware about this. This is nothing but the depiction of the cash conversion cycle. And why I just chose this reason being that what is in our control? Because if you see the typical formula of cash conversion cycle, which particular element or the segment is in our control, that if we can optimize using Gen AI, that is going to have most of the impact for reducing my entire cycle for cash, getting cash into my system. That is definitely not DPO and DIO. It's going to be DSO. And this is where we have been speaking about, that where I covered the few of the use cases of credit collection and the cash application all together. And this is where I've been telling that they should work in sync, in tandem, in order to optimize your DSO to the industry average at least. For example, I'll just take one of the KPIs again for DSO, where for one of my customers, they have the challenges where 108 days for the DSO, while their industry average in that particular segment of the business they were in that domain, was 45 days. As soon as we embark on the journey of cash conversion cycle and we start answering the challenges through the technology using GenAI into each three sub processes of O2C, we notice the remarkable improvement by bringing it down from 108 days to 70 days in first few months. And target is now to take it to 45 industry average by end of next year at least. So this is some of the highlights I would like to mention here for the sake of the means audience here. Now let's I'll also, yeah, I think, yes. So, Lakshmi, we have covered these things, and now what I am going to cover here, how we can enable leadership at BU level or at org level to adopt GenAI as your partner, and what are the right strategies. that we are going to implement in order to take your order to cash to the next level. So first thing is to define the leadership vision. Until you have bought in from the leadership, you cannot do anything because capex is lying with them. You need to do a bit of investment. You need to align your digital strategy with the overall strategic agenda of the companies, right? So Gen AI should be integrated across processes, sub processes, and products. The next thing is transition into technologies. What you can look at that, can you build the use cases exploring the LLMs specific to O2C? Are you really going to build or buy? That is something you need to decide, but everything has to do with beyond thinking beyond ERPs. And this is where coming to the most important part of it, that is selecting right FNA partner for your AI need. And again, it's a decision of build versus buy. If you have capability, technology capability, and to build it, just go ahead and do it. Don't be late because bus has already left, and you need to really catch it up. And if you are going to select for the partners, be sure to select the right partners who are doing lots of things into AI, and they can support your AI vision and roadmap for the future. Because ultimately, idea is to democratizing AI into digital operations, be it for people, process, and technology. Right?
Right. Okay, so Praveen, you have given entire platter of Gen AI examples on multiple sub-processes of order to cash space. So, however, at process level or at BU level, what do you think is important for finance leader and how they can embark on their Gen AI journey for finance transformation?
Lakshmi, as I mentioned here, right? So this is one of the canvas that they should look at. I'll also talk in detail because this is more at the strategy level, that how you can transform your strategy into planning and then
Mm-hmm.
probably take to the execution. So once this entire thing is covered, I hope you are able to see the change in the screen. It's some of the difficulty. So Lakshmi, are you able to see the next screen framework? Okay,
Yeah.
here it is. Thank you. So this is with one of our partners, with Everest. We have been doing it, and I really like this framework because the way you see it, it has divided. So there is a x-axis and y-axis. On the y-axis, we have got the impact. What is the top line, bottom line, and customer experience, and overall impact on your risk and compliances. So you can define that how it's going to impact in each of these areas, and then you can again from measuring from low to high, the same type of things, but it's more about the potential of adoption areas, right? And we will measure them on the basis of what the how complex are your processes, and what are your constraint, be it your data constraint or other technology constraint that into your processes, or some compliance related constraint that you need to look at, and then scale of operations, right? So until I get the scale of whatever I am doing at the use case level, you will not be means I'm not able to make the impact, right? So scalability at the same time modularity are very important for any GenAI transformation journey within the use cases. So basis these X and Y axes, you can select that, okay, I can put now my use cases in each of these quadrant, where one is immediately like you need to pursue immediately. This is something I believe that are low hanging fruits. So I can, let's put it here. We can start experimenting and we can start harnessing the results of it. And it gives the confidence to the uh, sponsors as well, that will be your leaders, that okay, I am getting some of the results immediately, quick results, so I am open to invest more into this area. I'm open to explore more with the existing partnership with a vendor. We are on the right track or not. So that is where the pursue immediately will get you there, and then there are future opportunities that you identify in the system as well, that this is the area I believe after getting some results and getting probably some more fundings, I can invest my capex to the next, that is on the top left corner, right? Then you have something called wait and watch. And because technology is still improving, we are witnessing lots of LLMs coming now and then with new releases. What is the right one for your finance transformation for your particular use case? Those are very important. And if you believe that this particular use case can wait, and probably the new technology is coming up that I can get into, then you can just keep an eye on those use cases, those technology arrival. And with the advent of the new technology, you can think of that, okay, now I will wait and watch, and probably next journey could be there here. At the same time, most difficult thing is to deprioritize, because leadership is mostly for most of us, at least in my case, sometime I just carried away by the commitment of the what we call escalating commitment towards a particular thought process or use case of the product. It's very essential for us to leave that until we unhook the past, okay, of the failures, that this is something that is very redundant and I do not want to continue this. So you need to really cannibalize those use cases, and then only you can be open for the to adopt the future of new and more result oriented use cases with the help of GenAI. So this framework is quite essential. I think we will be sharing this with you, and so you can go and see that. Let me also present. I have tried to prepare some of the use cases for sample use cases on O2C, and that's specific to what you can see here. Might help start using immediately, like cash conversion cycle or bringing the DSO down. Means we have spoken about a lot on these three areas, and I have taken use cases from those three areas. For example, let me take that advanced fraud detection, because one thing I really want to do, first of all, I'm not getting payment, suppose, on time, and at the same time I'm releasing more of the products to the customers, right? One thing I want to really curtail down on the fraud detection, that how can I can means on the fraudulent payments, that how can I do that. So that's one thing. Second, cash application automation, I just pasted in, and Lakshmi really like the idea. I really like that as well, because that's where it should be completely automated. Then DSO analysis and personalized collection strategy. I think most of the things we have covered, that is a part of pursue immediately. And this is where I am running most of my experiments, and putting more values from these use cases of incubating them into my product through GenAI. And then let's look at the left hand side on the top at the opportunity areas. So where we are also doing a project, and that's probably not today but for the future, how I can put the dynamic discounting into the system with GenAI negotiating for the customer. So these are some of the futuristic use cases, and we are not doing it immediately, but this is the opportunity that we will embark upon. Then I also mentioned about the co-pilot for collection and credit, where my collection agents and credit analysts are talking to the system by the prompt engineering, by entering the details and trying to get the relevant information while talking to customers or adjusting their credit limit. It's more about being more in the information age, and then having better negotiation with the customer or adjusting right credit limit for the customers in absence of the data that I don't see in the system. So I can do the prompt and I can get the answer. So these are some of the opportunistic thing that is still in the lab or in the kitchen that means anyone should be focusing upon. Then on the right hand side on the wait and watch, where we know that optimal credit turn. This is where we have been able to achieve something that is pursue immediately, but beyond that, what I'm going to do. Then predictive financing for supply chain. This is a bigger area, and this require multiple domain expertise. And I believe the kind of LLM we are looking forward to, still it's more about the fitment that we are trying to gauge, and we are still waiting there. At the same time, deprioritization, that we have tried to put that whatever payment trend forecasting. These are the means these have become redundant today, because this is something that is very hygiene factor right now nowadays, right? These should be in your system. If not, then probably I don't know. Means they should be bring into the plain vanilla automation. So I believe this canvas says quite a lot, and we really need time to have a very open appetite to digest this and sink it in, and then start our journey on Gen AI. I think, Lakshmi, that's all from my side. I believe I'm good.
Thank you, Praveen. It's really complete and nice that you have detailed out eagle strategy for CFOs and then plan it further down level to implement Gen AI in all sub processes at BU levels. Okay, hope that every one of us have something to take away from today's webinar, be it tools, technologies, strategy, planning, or execution. So, with this note, I would like to open the session for Q&A. So, Praveen, we already have some questions in Q&A coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the first question is you mentioned LLM. Can you describe the LLM required in order to use GenAI for O2C?
So there are many of them. So we are experimenting right now in our processes, I can say. So you can look at the Gemini as well, because the cost has really come down, and with the latest release from the Google's Gemini, it's working quite fantastic. So that's one of them. And Microsoft OpenAI has been our partner. So that's where we started. When we started GenAI, we started with their LLM. However, we are working for both of them, means we are with both of them, Gemini and Microsoft OpenAI. So LLMs are really nice, and Gemini is giving better results as of now, because the cost is something also we need to have a tap upon.
Okay. The second question is how does GenAI handle complexities like different payment terms and customer preferences?
So different payment terms. Let me tell you that GenAI can do one thing for sure. Okay, it
Mm-hmm.
analyzes the historical data, and then bases the means again historical data and the payment patterns, and then suggests that what is the optimal payment term for each of the customers, and it strike balance between the prompt payments and the customer satisfaction, because at the same time it has to take care that I define certain terms that customer doesn't like. So it works on the multiple factors it takes into account. And customer preference for sure is there, where it's learned from the past interaction, understanding how each customer prefers to receive invoices and reminders. And this personalization improves the response rates and accelerate the cash flow in the system.
Okay. The next question comes like, can you provide examples of how GenAI has improved cash conversion cycle for other companies?
Uh, by implementing Gen AI, so any company can reduce their cash conversion cycle by 20 to 30%. And this was achieved through the faster order processing, reducing DSOs, and optimizing their inventory management. And these are all there in the questions when we put our, I think, second four questions, right? So both of the questions have the answers in terms of the
Mm-hmm.
options, right, that we have seen. And with GenAI assistance, companies can improve its invoice accuracy, resulting in reduction in the billing errors. That's again contributes to 15 to 20% of the reduction in further reduction of the overall conversion cycle. Of course, this lead to quicker payment and more efficient cash conversion cycle.
Okay. So, how does GenAI specifically improve cash flow within the order to cash process?
That's the third question.
Yeah.
So I think we have already covered this, right? So we covered our credit, we covered our collections and
Mhm.
cash applications, and we have also given the examples to them. So if you implement Gen AI into each of these sub processes with the right use cases that we mentioned, of course, we are going to complete the entire journey of shortening our DSO, and thus that's the lever to improvise your cash conversion cycle. For example, like by analyzing customer data, Gen AI can help with the better credit rating assessment, reducing bad debt, and improving cash flow. For collections, I already spoke about. You can identify overdue account, and it's a very tailored and specific mode, and suggesting the best action and negotiation, enabling a collector to negotiate better with the customer. runtime cache application, 100% automation, all three in tandem are going to improvise your complete cash flow within order to cash process.
So we have one more question coming up on LLM.
Mhm.
So are you using existing LLM such as OpenAI, or you are building one for scratch from the?
Uh, so this question is very interesting, and it's a $1 million question. Let me tell you. Reason being that so far we have been improvising LLMs of the big techs, and we thought that we will in means again embark on the journey of building the LLM from scratch for FNA, and that's something we are still exploring because there are multiple factors like the cost and the machines. Do we really have the infrastructure? So that is something our data scientist teams are exploring upon. But of course, uh, you should not wait. Means my honest answer or advice that if you are thinking of building LLM first and then I'll go, that's more about that once I'll have the perfect day, then I'll go for the batting, right? So, or the perfect spin bowler only, if we cannot spin, then I'll go. No, don't wait for that. You can start with the existing LLMs in the market and you can start experimenting those LLMs. And if you see some success, probably you can extrapolate that journey, enhance on that, build upon that. And meanwhile, what you can think of that, okay, I'm getting some results now. I don't want to give money to the big tech. I want to build my own LLM. So you can do that as well. So of course, that's one of the key things.
Okay, that's right. So one more question coming up, like, can you talk a bit about how do you manage the additional credit card fee uh, incurred when customer pays their invoices in millions?
This is more related to the payment, and this varies with the customer to customer because this is where the customer has to take call that how they are managing the credit card fee. For me, means I cannot decide as a means service provider, but in there has been the cases where they have tied up with the banks where the credit card fee is completely waived off for larger transaction, and this is again between three of them. And this is where the concept of where I put that bill discounting, right? The concept of bill discounting, you cannot just run without in consensus with your banks or the payment agencies. So this is up to them. Of course, you need to probably draft the strategy, talk to them. It's up to you how you negotiate the payment term with your bank. And for credit card, if millions of payments are there, you need to really think through it and then talk to bank and convey it to the customer. Sorry.
Okay.
I hope I'm able to answer that.
Yeah. I think people are requesting for P2P automation webinar as well. So
Okay.
I can't
So
see.
so
Yeah,
that's
that's a good
really
response.
very interesting if that's the request. So what so we have that's again our sweet spot apart from what we do now, and we'll try to come up next. So I hope it's more about again use case of Gen AI and not the just plain vanilla P2P presentation, P2P automation. So I take as the feedback for my team, and next webinar we will try to host on P2P complete tapestry of the offering that we have with invoice processing, vendor collaboration, procurement, contract management. We'll try to cover them and how our journey with the Gen AI is getting along, how it's nurturing there, and what are the benefits we are going to get. We'll try to cover them from B2B for sure. One thing is there if you want to have a quick meeting with our team. We have already shown the QR code. You can quickly scan it and submit the details. Our team will get back to you and set up some time for sure. Is there any additional question, Lakshmi?
There is not questions. We have a lot of comments coming up,
Okay.
like thanking us and excellent presentation, exceeding your expectations, and all these things.
Okay. So I think
Um,
Muskan, over to
Praveen,
you. I think we are good.
yes, we have one question. Maybe I'll just read that out for your benefit. Financial data is mostly numeric in the form of Excel sheets. How are LLMs able to consume this data and provide predictions better than other analytical solutions like machine learning, which specialize in structured data?
I think this is from Pratik Deshpande. I can see that question. So good question, Pratik. So see, LLMs are a bit different or modified version of machine learning because they can consume data in any format, and they don't require the structured data. That's the beauty of the LLM, and you need not to train them on heavy amount of data, because once you use structured data, you need to feed lots of data into the system, and they should be having particular pattern or structure in order to digest into the system, and then your learning algorithm provides the result. And those results, once those results are out, you need to probably train more by providing more data to that. And this is where LLMs have fuzzy logics, where you have certain amount of data, and these data should be unstructured. It understands because your engine that you are building is understanding what is the required output from the system, and then it use that data and start training the model into that limited amount of data, and then provides the output. As soon as you strike modes, for example, if there is a error in the system, right, it identifies that one or two times, it captures that as the error or exception. Next time onwards it learns by itself, so you need not to give them again train on multiple data and then keep saying that okay, these are the HITL we require or exception is there. No, not required at all. LLM is quite smart enough to understand in one or two instances, and that it pass on those exceptions. I hope means that makes sense.
Yes, I think Praveen and Lakshmi, we don't have any more questions from the audience. Is this that what we see? And as rightly pointed out, I think they're just basically putting in their comments and thanking us. Uh,
Yeah.
okay,
I
we
think
have
one more
one
question came
question.
from
Yeah, yeah,
Shrest Agarwal. In
yeah.
scenario, just a minute,
In
Shrest.
scenarios where clients express reluctance to share data with a LLM database, how do you ensure that the data remains confidential and is not transmitted to the LLM database?
So Shrest, again, interesting question, and it has conflict in itself. If client doesn't share data, how I can share that with LLM, right? Anyway, I think the what the point he is trying to make is client is not ready to share the data, and we need to ensure to the customer, we need to provide the security that okay, the data is safe with us. So LLMs, whenever you build your either your LLM or you are working with one of the big tech LLM, in case of like Gemini, so these are very specific. So you work with a very specific team of Google or very specific team of Microsoft while you using OpenAI. And those data you, so there is a three-way NDA you sign. And other part of it that you don't require the huge amount of data from the customer. What you can say, the best way to start with that, you have some sample data from them, very limited amount of data. That data probably is not their production data, and you can start experimenting with that and then produce result with that. At the same time, what you do, you sign the agreement and you show that okay, because every time customers think that data will be used, or after using on the LLM, it's open for the web to all. No, it's not like that. It's still quite a closed system, as we have been doing. Like customer shares data with you or your company, right? So why do they do that? Because you have signed the NDA with them, so they have the confidence there. Similar case with the LLM. As you borrow particular, so LLMs you borrow and then you are optimizing your use case on those LLMs. You are optimizing those engines. So these are very specific asset to you. IP is still there with the big tech, but you are working on your particular machine, your particular system. So data is secure and sound. That's not something to worry about. But yes, you can start taking this small steps of, as I mentioned, on the sample data, and then go about it. I
Absolutely.
think that's
Yes, we
do we have any other question, Muskan?
no, none as of now. But
Perfect.
thank you so much, Praveen and Lakshmi, for generously sharing your expert insights. Your collaboration and knowledge sharing have been invaluable. And I also trust our audience has gained a lot of perspective from today's discussion. As we conclude, I'd like to express our gratitude to all the participants attending this webinar. We hope you found the session informative and thought provoking. If you seek further information, please don't hesitate to reach out via email on events@datamatics.com. Also, keep an eye for the session recording and presentation deck, which will be sent by early next week. We eagerly await your feedback in the survey form that will appear shortly after we close the webinar. Until our next session, take care and see you soon. Goodbye for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
audience.
you.
Thanks, team.
Thank you,
Thank you.
audience. Thank
Thanks.
you,
Bye.
everyone.